Hey guys, welcome to Endstep, the Upkeep After Show. It was the Christmas episode, slash my birthday episode, which didn't have a happy ending.
Not for him.
Spoiler alert.
This was a really fun game. This was pretty much Preston's whole idea. So, Preston, we're going to start off with you. Actually, first of all, to the viewers, if you haven't seen the game, go watch the game. Sorry for the technical issues. Of course, the one time we do something really special is the one time that we're going to have technical issues. But if you haven't seen the game, go watch it real quick. And then come back and hear a little bit about the game. But Preston, start us off. Tell us about these decks. What gave you the idea? What made you want to build these decks specifically? What kind of restrictions did you give yourself? All that.
All right, so it's a bit of a story. The first deck I wanted to do was the Fire Song and the Sunspeaker deck. I've been thinking about building that deck for at least like a year or two whenever that first came out. And then from there it evolved into I was thinking about making a deck for each of the color combinations, but a little too much money for a bunch of decks, some of which I knew I wasn't going to like as much. So I thought, okay, if I'm not going to like all the decks, I can build decks for all of my friends within some amount of budget. And after we did the decks, the random two-color decks, see what two colors we all got for that week, that narrowed it down to choices. And that's where I came up with these color combinations.
What made you set the $50 budget?
I just thought that was probably a good point of keeping them all within a similar power level, still having some good power cards in there, but not too expensive to where it just wasn't manageable, really.
All right. So what did everyone think of their decks? Because I think most of us would say that, maybe not Jason, but I think most of us would say this is not a deck that we would choose from the pile if we knew what it was. But honestly, I really liked my deck. It was I've thought about building spirits a couple times over the years, and the fact that there's an arcane sub theme in here is like I definitely wouldn't have ever done that. But getting to play it was like kind of fun. Especially, I mean, it's obviously like a lower power deck, but I had a lot of fun. But what did you guys think of your decks?
Yeah, I mean, I had the Fire Song and Sunspeaker deck that Preston mentioned, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's a fun, Boros is a interesting color combination, not the best for Commander. Red and white is not a great combination for Commander, but I think there's some potential in that deck. I wasn't drawn into a lot of the really good stuff that was in that deck after I was looking into it. But I think it's really fun, and it's not exactly what I would build or what I would choose, I think, if I was, making this deck myself. But yeah, I mean, even though I lost, obviously, I still had a lot of fun with it, so. Yeah.
What about you, Stage?
I'm kind of the same way with what Tommy said. I don't think I would have built this deck myself, but it's just I did have a lot of fun with my deck. It's really interesting that every creature in the deck is an enchantment creature, which obviously had a downside.
It probably would have been more powerful with artifact creatures, but I feel like that's just way more common and boring. So that's why I wanted to do with the enchantments with that one.
That's cool.
A lot of the enchantment ones enchantment creatures aren't that good, though. Like, I mean, some of them were pretty good, and then some of them were just like, okay, I know this is in the deck only because it's an enchantment.
There's a lot of good ones past the budget you could add to the deck.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What about you, Jason? Did you like your deck?
You could say that. Yeah. You could say it was fun. No,
like the cackling he was making towards the end of the episode.
It was pretty boring. I didn't really have that much fun with it.
Honestly.
I only took like 5 extra turns.
Yeah.
Drawing that, what was it? Spell Twine? Is that what that card was called?
Yeah.
That let me take another extra turn.
Yeah.
I didn't see it happening, and I was totally prepared not to take an extra turn. But then it was almost as if the deck was like, no,
you
need one more extra turn. And I said, all right, well, I guess so.
I mean, yeah.
Simic was one of the first decks that I ever built. I built a Tatiova deck, and I mean, you guys have seen that deck before.
It's good.
So I love the colors. It's fun. It's always fun just getting real big creatures out and doing fun stuff. And I like to play solitaire when I play Magic. The most things that I can possibly do on my turn, I want to do it.
We know Jason. This is your third. I'm trying to think of chronological order of the releases, but I think that this will be the third game you will have been on, and you've won all 3 in a row. So, yeah, bringing the heat. what are you guys going to do with these decks? Are you guys going to keep them as is? Are you going to upgrade them? Or are you going to take them apart for to upgrade some of your other decks? What are you guys thinking? I'm kind of thinking I'm going to keep mine because I've thought about building spirits before. I might upgrade it here and there, but for the most part, I think I'm going to keep that sucker.
I think I'm going to keep mine for a little bit at least. Play some games with it, see how it does. In some other different circumstances. I'm not. It's a cool deck idea, and like I said, I will keep it probably, but I don't know how long term I'm going to keep it. I don't know if this will be like never change it, obviously. But for now, I'm going to keep it and see how it does, and if it just starts underperforming or something, I might upgrade it or just take it apart for other stuff I have. But
what about you, Steven?
Yeah, well, I like my deck. I don't see a need to take it apart, but also in regards of building new decks and upgrading other decks I have, would be pretty low on my list. So I don't know if I would make any immediate changes to it, at least anytime soon.
Well, and I know you've talked about building a squirrel deck, and
that would be Golgari.
Yep, and the Tiny Leaders deck you have is Golgari, and you probably want to upgrade that before the Tiny Leaders episode of our show. So, I mean, that's an option too, I'm sure. Jason, what about you?
Or I could just make this a Tiny Leaders version.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Because this
Jason?
is definitely better than my Tiny Leaders.
Oh my God, Steven, I've asked Jason 3 times.
I'm going to take the extra turn this time.
I like this
Okay, wait,
deck a
hold on.
lot.
I need one more. Okay.
Super powerful. It's a lot of fun. I was thinking though, I already have a Simic deck. Tommy, do you have a Simic deck?
I do not.
Would you be interested in trading?
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
I would love to have that
If you
deck.
recall, before the game started,
So yeah, here's the thing.
I wanted that one. That's the one. This is the box that I opened. And Tommy
he opened
stole
this
it
one.
from me.
I stole it, and I was honestly, when I got back around to me, because I opened first, so I had the least knowledge of what the decks were, and so I was like, I'm probably gonna steal something. When it got around to me, I was like, I was torn between this one that you opened or that one that Steven originally opened,
which Jason stole.
which Jason stole from Steven. So.
But if Tommy hadn't have stolen mine from me, I wouldn't have stolen this from Steven.
Yeah.
So you're saying this is Tommy's fault?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
When
yeah,
is
no,
it
if
not?
you want to trade,
You know what? I'll do it right now.
I am
Trade
down
you.
for that.
Yes, sir.
Look at the Christmas spirit.
Christmas spirit. Thank
You
you,
wanna
sir. I
trade?
really appreciate it. No.
I really, as soon as like I saw the deck box was red, because I remember Preston had talked a couple months ago about building a Fire Song and Sunspeaker deck. And what was the name of the Fire Song and Sunspeaker deck that you said?
Gain and Pain is the...
Gain and Pain. And
yeah.
I immediately thought, I was like, that could be a Fire Song and Sunspeaker. And I really wanted to play this deck. So
Yeah, it's-
Yeah, you were kind of bummed when I stole it from you. So,
more
yeah.
than happy to make that trade.
And after
with you.
seeing-
But
yeah,
that
like-
deck is really cool.
Yeah,
It's
like
really, really
it's,
good.
Yeah, after seeing how this performed, and like you said, I don't have a Simic deck, which is like one of the more popular color combinations for Commander.
Because it's
just
broken.
so good. It's so good.
Maybe just a
So-
tad broken.
Just a tad, you know. How many turns did you take on one turn?
4,
5? Yeah, 5 I think
5,
total.
including the turn that I'm supposed to
I
take.
think
Yeah.
you took 3 one turn and 2 the next turn after you let it pass.
No,
once.
he took 5 total because he took his original turn, took 2 after that.
It doesn't matter. The game's over.
Whatever. Anyway,
It doesn't matter. It's an absurd amount. So that's my next question: is what are our feelings on extra turns? Are they too much? I think if it's like
No,
one
'cause if
extra
it's like-
turn, whatever. Because the floor is pretty low on what you can do on an extra turn. Maybe on an extra turn, it's like I draw an extra card, I play an extra land, I attack with my 1/1. That was my extra turn. But it's never that. It's
No.
never that. It's always I'm going to play 15 more creatures. I'm going to take an extra turn after this extra turn. So what are our thoughts on extra turns? Like I mean, there's
I think
enough
it's
extra
only-
turn spells that it's not like we can just ban all of them. But like, what do we
allow
do?
me, as the player who actually took several extra turns, to weigh in my opinion. I think that
You should never add them to a
turns,
deck.
that extra turns are fine if you are using them to win the game right then and there.
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Because if you just take 3 extra turns and you can't kill anybody, you can't win the game, you can't do anything that impacts the board in a tremendous way, and you're just passing, that's just not fun for anybody.
Yeah, that's-
and people are just sitting here watching you do a bunch of stuff just to have to go through another rotation and maybe you win that turn, and it just makes things take a lot longer. So if you're using the extra turns to win the game right there on the spot, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily say just to win on the spot, but if you're just taking extra turns just to take extra turns, don't do that. That's not cool. It's not fun for anybody. It's Commander. It's a casual format. We're just trying to have fun.
What Jason did was not fun for us.
Well, no, but
you were already dead.
He won the game.
I ended the game.
But what I'm saying is, if you're doing it to end the game or make a significant change to the board and the game as a whole, I think it can be. I think it's okay to use that. It's never going to be fun for anyone, obviously, because it's literally just like you're basically cheating.
Yes, but
I had fun as a viewer.
Well, yeah, as the audience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're doing it to end the game, yeah, it's kind of miserable if Jason takes 2 or 3 turns. It was more than that, but if he's winning the game, then it's like, okay, well, the game is ending, so we can move on with our lives. It's a little longer when it's 5 or 6 turns, but point stands. I agree with you guys. So
I didn't say anything about extra turns.
What do you think about
extra
turns,
combat
Steve?
phases are okay. I think whole extra turns aren't okay, except if it's like Emrakul.
Except if it's Emrakul, because he plays Emrakul.
Because you play it.
But you get an extra turn after someone takes your turn.
Right.
That's okay.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I think it varies, but I think in general that is less devastating than just straight up playing an extra turn. So.
Yeah.
But I think overall we had a lot of fun. It's too bad we had the tech issues in the first half of the game. It's going to be a nightmare for me to edit this, but if you're watching this, I didn't kill myself. So there is that Christmas miracle. Are we thinking about wanting to do this again next year? I think this was a lot of fun. We could do something like this. Maybe next year we do something like you draw a name, like Secret Santa, and you have to build a specific deck for someone. We could do that, or we could do the White Elephant again.
Oh, that'd be fun.
What do you guys think? Would you like to keep up the holiday cheer if we do a season 2?
Oh yeah, I think it's a fun thing, and this got us to play decks. We pretty much all said these weren't decks that we would.
I don't want to draw
build.
Jason.
But like we all said, these weren't necessarily decks that we would build ourselves. So it kind of gets us out of our comfort zone a little bit, and it's just a fun thing of building a deck for someone else with the holiday spirit, or building White Elephant type gifts. I think it's a good idea. I think it's fun.
I would definitely do this again. I mean, as a younger person, every year my family would always do a White Elephant gift exchange, and so this is very nostalgic for me. I greatly enjoyed it.
We still did that.
Yeah, we still
We're doing one this year.
I think we'll have to switch it up some so we can actually get Preston to play the game.
Yeah, I spent about like $300 this year.
I'm
not doing that again.
Yeah, we'll switch up. Either if we do this again, we'll have someone else do it, or if we do the draw a name
Santa.
idea.
Yeah,
If we do Secret Santa, then that's
cool.
a way easier. It's $50 instead of $200 or $300 or whatever. But thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, share with a friend. Forgive us for the technical difficulties in spreading holiday cheer, we'll call it. We are going to be taking a couple weeks off for the holiday season. We'll be back on, I have it written down, January 6th. That will be the Voltron game, which is, funny enough, the first game we ever filmed, so it's kind of weird that it's episode 6 or whatever it's been. Yeah. We will be back in a few weeks with some new games, and we will be right back at it. We'll see you guys later.